Hello and welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Lo and I am a freelance social media manager and marketer. And I wanted to talk to you today about how I went about getting my first few clients while I was employed full-time and just starting freelancing. Luckily, my parents ingrained in me at an early age that networking and who you know was the end all and be all of how to get further in your career. So I've always been a super strong networker, and I was lucky enough that this translated into getting inbound clients when I decided that I was going to start freelancing. So just in case you're not aware, inbound clients is when somebody would reach out to me and say that they were looking for help with XYZ, and it's something that I offer them. Outbound clients are me reaching out to people and basically pitching them my services. I don't think it's a secret that LinkedIn is a goldmine for whatever industry you're in. I use LinkedIn probably more than any other social media platform, and that was before I even started freelancing. I have started to develop a personal brand on there and have been posting some of my accomplishments and what I've been working on, as well as partners that I work with, just so that my network is seeing my name every once in a while and being reminded of what I do, who I am. And that way, when they're seeing me on a regular basis, when they are starting to think, oh, I might need help with some marketing, they would think of my name because they know that I've been sharing successes and accomplishments in my marketing career. Now, you can't just create a LinkedIn and expect, people to start flowing in. I've spent years crafting my LinkedIn profile and optimizing it to make it an avenue for inbound leads. That's going to be a whole other video on this channel because I can go on and on about how important LinkedIn is for your personal brand and for your freelance business. But I want to dive into that in an entirely other video and actually show you how to optimize it, because me just telling you here is not going to be beneficial to you. But one of my easiest tips is utilize the LinkedIn services section. That's something that LinkedIn had rolled out in the past couple months or years. I can't exactly remember, but it allows you to set your prices and what you offer so that when people visit your profile, they come across something on their feed that has you named or mentioned, they can then go look at your services right there on LinkedIn. You don't need to set up a website. Everything is just a one-stop shop, and that will start having you think about, like, what are the services that you want to offer? What are the prices you want to offer? Which that is all things you need to start doing before you start doing some outreach via email and other avenues. Facebook groups are also a great place to find potential clients. There are so many Facebook groups out there for every single niche. I'm part of one specifically to women marketers in Colorado. I mean, that is so specific, and it really allows you to, chat with other freelancers, see what they're working on, see where they find clients. More people want to help you than they want to compete against you, if I'm being totally honest. Being part of those groups has been more of a godsend because I've been able to pick the brains of people who are doing things that are similar to myself without necessarily feeling like I have to compete with them. You can be a social media manager like myself and have a specific niche of, I only work with realtors or I only work with beauty salon owners, and you can still get feedback from other people in your industry, but they're not your direct competitors. So I would not shy away from joining groups where people are doing the exact same thing as you, because at the end of the day, people want to help you more than they want to hurt you. That also goes two ways. You should also be providing value in that group that you just joined, giving tips and answering questions that people may have, because what goes around comes around. And like I said, more people want to help than not. And I think you'll find a lot of support in those very niche Facebook groups. The next biggest one I already alluded to, that's networking. I mean, that's networking as a whole. I'm part of a networking group that is specific to former competitive athletes, meaning that anyone in that group has played a sport competitively at some point in their life. So these are people from all industries, all walks of life, but we have one commonality, and that is the avenue in which we network. I network with other college softball players. I network with people who have worked in the sport that I used to work in. And it's really nice to be part of a group that has a structured networking system where, there's these collectives where you can meet people, again, that are doing similar things than you. And you can hop on workshops and other collectives to learn about something you may not have a lot of experience in. So I really think joining these networking groups is extremely beneficial when you're starting your freelancing business. One, to learn, and two, to connect with people who may need help now or in the future. The second point of networking is just letting people know what you're up to. As soon as I got laid off and knew I was gonna start getting more freelance clients, I reached out to anyone I knew that could benefit from my services that I already had a connection with. I reached out to somebody who owns an agency that represents, people with personal brands and said, this is what I'm doing now. If any of your clients ever need help, please keep me in mind. It can be as simple as that. It does not need to be a full pitch. You do not need to have a whole deck prepared for them. It can be a connection that you already have and you're reaching out to them and telling them what you're up to. That way, if they do need help, they know that you're available to them. Now, there's a reason freelance platforms are last on my list because that's not really where I find a lot of my clients. Like I said, I use LinkedIn. It's building my personal brand there. There's also a ton of freelancing contract jobs available on LinkedIn. And then some of these other freelance platforms I think are a little oversaturated. I've never tried Upwork. I've never tried Fiverr. I do look at, freelancer.com or Pangea or Contra. Freelancing Females has a job board. But more often than not, I tend to see that they're on another job board and then default to LinkedIn to reach out to them because I feel like LinkedIn is a little bit more personal than applying on Contra or Pangea or any of these other platforms. And like Upwork and Fiverr, it's very easy to sell yourself short on those platforms. Like when you are really trying to find clients, you need to know what you're offering and know your price point because the last thing you want to do is be doing too many hours of work for too little pay and then burn yourself out on freelancing before you even get started. Just for some context, my first ever client, oddly enough, came as a referral from my therapist. I was telling her what I was going to start doing. She knew somebody that owned a business and decided to connect me with him, and he became my first client and is still my client to this day. My next client, like I said, I reached out to somebody. I told them, I just got laid off. This is what I'm doing now. If you know anybody who can utilize my services, please keep me in mind. That's exactly what happened. She passed along my information. I got client number 2. Now my third client is a friend of mine. I didn't even know that he would potentially be in the market. I wasn't even trying to sell him. We were just having a conversation. He was like, you know what? I could use that. How much do you charge? Let's talk about this. So there was client number 3. Now the client I signed a contract with today was someone I used to work with, who I was connected with on LinkedIn. She saw me posting. She knew what I was up to because I was building my personal brand on LinkedIn. And then when she needed help with social media, she chose to reach out to me because she knew that's what I was doing at the time, and she knew I had the availability because I was posting about it and I was talking about it. And now I am signed to a contract with one of my favorite brands just because I was building my personal brand. And that is why LinkedIn is so important. And why my next video is gonna show you exactly how to optimize your LinkedIn profile so that you can get people to reach out to you for your services and not vice versa. That is the ideal scenario when you are in demand and you feel like the supply is endless. So honestly, it's about your network, it's about building your personal brand, and it's about letting people know what you're doing. It's really that simple. And if I, wasn't utilizing LinkedIn to its full potential, I would not be where I am right now with my clients. So in my next video, I definitely want to go more in depth on LinkedIn and talk about how you can build your personal brand on there and how you can optimize your profile so that it's being seen by the right people. If you have any questions about any of the other platforms I've mentioned or about networking specifically, please let me know. I'm happy to help out. I know that networking is not easy for everyone. I'm lucky in the sense that I am an absolute people person and could talk to a wall if I needed to. So networking to me comes very naturally. So if it would be helpful to provide some networking tips, I would love to create a video like that. So please let me know and see you then.